talk about an interesting topic I came across called the Purple Dawn. This topic is very much intertwined with the theory of the electric universe and the idea of Saturn worship. Now, if you're the type of person who's familiar with the concept of Illuminati bloodlines, Bohemian Grove, or the general idea that the elite are engaged in satanic, or at the very least, some kind of ancient pagan worship, then you've probably heard of the cult of Saturn. Perhaps you've heard to it referred to as the Saturn death cult or the cult of the black cube. Well, here's some facts we're going to establish before we move forward at all. First, of all the 5 planets known to the ancients, Saturn was the most distant visible to the naked eye. It was the Assyrians who first produced any written record of Saturn, and that was around the year 700 BC. Ancient Greeks called it Kronos, the Romans called it Saturn, and in the year 1610, Galileo was the first person to look through a telescope and see its rings, though he didn't realize it at the time. So Saturn was worshipped as a god by ancient cultures, and some people are of the belief that the worship of Saturn continues to this day, that it didn't end with the fall of ancient empires, it's still going on. This theory is vast, and it is complex in its scope, and it includes aspects of other ideas like secret societies, the New World Order, Illuminati symbolism, and numerous other interconnected hypotheses. As it relates to today's topic, we are going to examine one of the foundational concepts that this complex premise is built upon, and that is the idea that the universe is fundamentally electric, and that in the ancient past, the celestial body that we know as Saturn was at one time a brown dwarf star. And this star was Earth's original sun and primary source of light and heat. This was the first age of man. We're talking 60,000 BC, the time of the Purple Dawn. So this was an era of eternal twilight where the brown dwarf Saturn hung over the northern pole of the planet Earth as a dim, pale sphere in an opaque purple sky. No moon, sun, or stars would be visible to anybody living on Earth at the time. There would be virtually no wind, no tides, and no seasons. According to this theory, the planet Earth was enveloped in Saturn's plasma sheath. In this model, it is very much like the sun's heliosphere. The purple sky resulting from the red-blue spectrum of a dwarf star. This light was also bouncing uniformly back at the star from inside the plasma sheath. This effect would have been the same for the heat generated by the star, bouncing back at itself from inside the sheath. So due to this, the temperature on Earth would have been uniform all around the world. Even a place like Antarctica would be tropical and lush with red vegetation. The world also had a lesser gravity, which would allow for animals and plant life to grow to enormous proportions. Imagine a savage world without time, with forests of gigantic mushrooms swarming with enormous insects, where monstrous prehistoric creatures stalk around in the dim purple light. It must have looked like something out of the artwork of Frank Frazetta. This theory also accounts for the presence of Neanderthal on Earth as however, the difference is the prevalent thought among the Purple Dawn hypothesis folks is that Neanderthal are not our ancestors, they are not some kind of lesser human being, that these were really just savage, tool-making beast men like, apes on 2 legs. Picture Bigfoot with a spear. And a quick footnote to add. Some in this area of thought suggest that Sasquatch and other similar cryptids are actually remnant colonies of these ancient Neanderthal apes. So, if you're wondering what happened that ended all this, it was a cosmic event. As the Saturn approached the solar system, the Earth and Mars in tow, the plasma sheath of Saturn brushed against the heliosphere of the sun, which caused a short circuit, destroying the plasma sheath. So at this point, Earth and Mars become trapped in the sun's electrical current, which puts them in the orbits that they're at today. Saturn spins off into space, flaring out kind of like supernovae. And this has supposedly occurred several times before Saturn finally gets caught in the orbit around the sun, each time causing an extinction level event on the Earth. But to anyone alive on Earth at the time that the plasma sheath of Saturn was destroyed, it must have seemed like the end of the world. Suddenly, the purple sky shorts out and fades in an instant to the blinding light of the sun. I should point out here the biblical connection to the book of Genesis as the account on the first day, God creates light. As far as theories go, I know this one seems far-fetched on the surface. However, there have been some pretty smart people who have worked, on this idea for a very long time. And I'll provide some descriptions down in the link, some links down in the descriptions rather, to give you a wealth of information on this topic. And to be perfectly honest, I'd like to dig deeper into this to myself. but I wanted to kind of bring it to your attention in case you were looking for a new topic for your own research. So let me know if you've even heard of this one before. What are your thoughts on this whole concept? Put your comments down there. Let me know what you think. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, please give this video a like. If you want to help this channel grow, please give this video a share, and please don't go away without subscribing. I've been sleeping 10 minutes a night to provide consistent